We have a problem with anti-Semitism in this country, and the statistics bear that out. And I think now more than ever, we are seeing increased numbers. So what does that mean? What it means, if you can get from, my tone, we're going to be very aggressive. You heard from the FBI, the MPD. We're going to look for these cases. We're going to prosecute these cases to the full force of the law. It's a problem, and we're not going to tolerate it. Anti-Semitism has historically been one of the biggest scabs in the world that keeps getting picked on and picked at. So from my perspective, I will go forward with every case with vengeance.
I will go forward with every case with vengeance. Everyone, Johnny here, Don't Speak News. That's how she ended her little spiel there, Janine Pirro, however you pronounce her name. Another Fox News contributor serving on the Trump administration. I mean, it's just incredible how interchangeable they are. Fox News correspondents and, Trump's administration, both times, this time and the last time. So anyway, you heard her. They're threatening everyone that's anti-Israel, Americans included, of course. And she says, we're going to prosecute these cases, anti-Israel cases, and I will go forward with every case with vengeance. Yes, I bet you will, because you're doing the bidding of your masters. The synagogue of Satan that say they are Jews, yet they are not. The ones that are running the show in the nation state of Israel. So you can bet, following what she just said, we're going to see the Noahide Laws. Check this out. The Trump administration, they didn't do it because there was such outcry over it, but they wanted to withhold disaster funding for states and cities that boycott Israel, that are part of the boycott and divestment movement against Israel. So there it was, Trump administration to withhold disaster funding for states and cities that boycott Israel. The condition applies to at least $1.9 billion that states rely on to cover search and rescue equipment, emergency management salaries, manager salaries, and backup power systems, among other expenses. So they would like to just let you rot. Let's say you're in a flood zone, like in Texas, it got flooded here last month. Cities just wiped out, homes carried down the river. Texas, New Mexico, and other places, right? Well, if your state boycotts Israel, you get no federal funding. Nope, your house can't be rebuilt because you boycotted Israel. And that's what they were saying here. Then you got controlled opposition like Hal Turner saying, oh, that didn't happen. That was never in the bill. Yes, it was. They took it out because of outcry. I'm so sick and tired of these people like him. Hal Turner, Alex Jones, they're all the same. And then the Noahide Laws, like we just discussed. That's what's coming, and that's what Janine Shapiro is going to be enforcing. So the Noahide Laws began, and you can look at these links for yourself. It's all on Telegram here. In the States when Jimmy Carter signed Education Day into law. It goes all the way back to Carter. Ronald Reagan signed a proclamation to make sure all people were aware of the 7 universal Noahide Laws. George H.W. Bush signed Education Day USA, which included the Noahide Laws, which are not anywhere in the scripture, by the way. Old Testament, New Testament, doesn't matter. You're not going to find them. This is from the Talmud, Babylonian Talmud. George W. Bush endorsed Education Day, USA. Obama commemorated Education Day with Chabad Lubavitch. Trump endorsed the Noahide Laws as Education Day, USA 2020. And a rabbi gave the Noahide prayer at Trump 2024 Vegas rally. Trump prayed at the Rebbe Menachem Schneerson's grave. Trump honored Rabbi Schneerson on Education and Sharing Day, USA 2025. The Israel Sanhedrin called on Trump to establish an international divine Noahide court for all nations. Let me repeat that one again. The Israeli Sanhedrin called on Trump to establish an international divine Noahide court for all nations. You might want to click on that one. Rabbi Pinchas Cement, the regional director of Chabad Lubavitch of Arkansas, cites the Noahide Laws to the U.S. House of Representatives. Under the Noahide Laws, all Christians will be beheaded because of, they'll say idol worship, false gods, because they don't consider Jesus Christ to be the Messiah. So if we're worshiping Jesus Christ and in Jesus' name, you're going to get beheaded. The rise in anti-Semitism was always part of the plan, the psyop, to help bring in these 7 laws. You have to have a crisis before you can bring in laws like this. And so they'll make it up as they go along. And of course, Israel generates more and more anti-Semitism by committing genocide on the Palestinians. And it's rising around the world, right? Well, that was also predicted in the scriptures, that Israel would do things like this. How do you think the Lord is going to get them to gather at Armageddon, or Megiddo? Revelation 16:16. And he gathered them together in the place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. That's what's coming. That's why they keep doing these things. That's why they keep infuriating the world with now starvation of the Palestinians. And in fact, I got a video here somewhere. Let me pull that up real quick. Oops. If I can find it again. There we go. This is Gaza. Look at that. I mean, it's just leveled. And they still haven't got Hamas out of here in spite of all the bombings and all the war, all the killings. It's all civilians for the most part that they're killing. Over 60,000 on official counts now, but there's hundreds of thousands that are missing. So truly, only God knows how many have died here. And yet the Zionist Christians cheer this stuff on. It's just unbelievable. So deluded, so brainwashed. But there you go. Total devastation. This is what's coming. Noahide Laws. And look at what they're trying to do. It couldn't get away with it, at least not this time. The Trump administration was going to withhold disaster funding for states and cities that boycott Israel. Israel has more rights than you and I do in this country now. Can't you see that? They could care less about you and me. They'd rather have us wither and die out in the floodwaters, right? Starve to death if we don't support Israel. I mean, that's what they're talking about here, really. And then, like we talked about here last week, or a few days ago, I guess, about these FEMA camps. Well, look at this. Records show Florida's prepping for a second immigration detention facility at Camp Blanding. And Kristi Noem the other day, she said that Alligator Alcatraz is going to be the model for ICE state-run detention centers. And they're going to put them right next to airports, so they got quick transport in and out. See, here's the thing. Let's say you're an American citizen and they arrest you and put you in one of these camps. And it's right next to an airport, so they hurry up and ship you out before your lawyer can get to the court and say, hey, he's an American citizen. His parents and grandparents, everyone, American citizens. Well, if they've already shipped you off down to El Salvador and you get booked into their system, oh, it's too late. Sorry about that. Our bad. Ha 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 ha. And you never come out. Just saying, that's what's going to end up happening here, or you'll get sent to Alligator Alcatraz or one of these other facilities. We've already got them ready to go. We've known this for years, right? So Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says Alligator Alcatraz will serve as a model for state-run migrant detention centers. And she told CBS News in an interview she hopes to launch a handful of similar detention centers in multiple airports and jails across the country in the coming months. Potential sites already under construction or consideration, it might as well be construction, in Arizona, Nebraska, and Louisiana. And look how fast they got Alligator Alley going, or Alligator Alcatraz going. It won't take them long to get these going. She said the locations we're looking at are right by airport runways that will help give us efficiency that we've never had before. Noem said, adding that she's appealed directly to governors and state leaders nationwide to gauge their interest in contributing to the Trump administration program to detain and deport more unauthorized migrants. Most of them are interested, Noem said, adding that in states that support Trump's mission of securing the southern border, many of them have facilities that may be empty or underutilized. Yeah, that are already ready to go as FEMA camps. We've seen them. They've been maintained. They're actually guarded. They've been guarded for years. And as we scroll down here, oops, I lost my place. Darn it. Let's see, where was I? And of course, lawyers and experts have also called into question the very legality of the state-run immigration detention center, given the federal government's authority over immigration enforcement. Opening the detention center in the Everglades under Florida's emergency state powers marked a departure from the federal government's role of housing migrant detainees, an option typically reserved for those who've recently entered the country illegally or those with criminal convictions. A U.S. district judge last week ordered state and federal officials to provide a copy of the agreement showing who's running the show at the Everglades Immigration Detention Center. Florida does not have the legal authority to detain undocumented immigrants in the absence of a contract with ICE, said Kevin Landy, the director of detention policy and planning for ICE under Barack Obama. A state government can't do that. Well, they're doing it. You see, guys, they don't really care about the Constitution. In fact, I just saw something about that here just a little while ago. It's unbelievable. Here it is right here. The Trump administration quietly removed parts of the Constitution on the U.S. government website. Sections affected reportedly include those that deal with habeas corpus, limits on federal power, and Congress's sole authority to set tariffs. Yeah, indeed. And they don't want everybody to know that. They don't want people looking it up. Well, I hope you guys got, pocket constitutions of your own so you can look these things up for yourselves, because they're just going to take it off the interweb. So these provisions guarantee people's right to challenge their detention and demands the government justify their confinement. See, they don't want to do that. They don't want to justify anything. If they think you're an enemy of theirs or an enemy of the state or an enemy of Israel in particular, you're going to Alligator Alcatraz or something similar. So the Library of Congress said a coding error led the writ of habeas corpus, which the Trump administration suggested suspending, to disappear from the official online copy of the Constitution. Oh, coding error. My ass. Text from Article 1, Section 8, and the entirety of Sections 9 and 10 were absent from the official U.S. government website. Just like Daniel 7:25 says, and he shall intend to change the times and the law, which he's already done. I mean, every day we see a new executive order being signed about tariffs or a new executive order signed for whatever. He's ruling like a king, which he's not allowed to do under the Constitution, but it's gone. It's toast. They don't care about it. They're ignoring court orders. Seek to change the times and the law indeed. That's exactly what they're doing, and they're going to continue to do it because they're getting away with it. They're like, hey, what are you going to do, courts? You got no power here. We control all the law enforcement branches, the FBI, the DEA, all of them. So what are you going to do? Well, they're going to have a conflict of orders at some point. And we're already in a constitutional crisis, but they're just not speaking about it. But it's not really a crisis, I guess, because it's been over for a long time. The Patriot Act pretty much destroyed what was left of the Constitution. And then, of course, the Genius Act and the Big Beautiful Bill, which just set aside $45 billion in funds for these state-run facilities that I just told you about. That was a part of the article that I skipped over. But it's important to mention. $45 billion was hidden in that Big Beautiful Bill for detention facilities just like Alligator Alcatraz. So you'll be seeing more of those popping up, quite possibly in a state or city near you very soon. I'd imagine they're going to have some here in Spokane. We've got some detention facilities already out by the air base, Fairchild Air Force Base. So I imagine they'll be set up around there somewhere so we can get you out of here real quick. Wow. It's all coming to a head soon, guys. And I'm not even covering in this video. I'm not even going to cover Russia and Israel and Iran and the wars and rumors of wars, because that's coming too. That's all coming to a head. All right. August 8th is supposed to be the day tomorrow is supposed to be the day of secondary sanctions on everyone who does business with Russia, including China and India. Not sanctions, I guess, but tariffs, extra tariffs. And the secondary tariffs are supposed to be 100, 200%, maybe even up to 500%, according to Lindsey Graham. So we'll have to see. But I'm not even going to talk about that because this video is too long already as it is. And people don't watch them now because they're too long. I mean, it's amazing how few the views are here lately. Under 300 in most cases. And we've got 14, almost 1,500 subscribers now. So please like the videos and share the videos. It's very important that we get some eyeballs on it, or what's the point, right? I could be more productive somewhere else. So anyway, please like and share the videos and subscribe to the channel. It truly does help. And that will be it for now. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.